Good evening, all. We are back with another episode of Crone's Crucible. We just keep on chugging on. Hi, gang.
Hello.
We've got people preparing various things, so I'll be adjusting some pictures as we go on tonight. But we're getting there. We're almost there. So, anybody have anything they want to say about the week before we start in on where we're beginning the evening storyline?
Yes, I hope everyone had a happy Valentine's Day. And I'm on earbuds today, so I may sound a little bit different.
That's okay. You sound, and that's all we care about. You are here.
Long-distance relationships can suck, but it can be fun when you have plans.
Yeah, speaking of long-distance relationships, I learned that my girlfriend loves me a lot more than I thought, and probably a lot more than I deserve.
Aww. Yeah, same for me.
Well, you just have to earn it.
I try every day.
There was a heartrending story on the news about, did you see about the widow who got flowers from her husband, 3 months after his death?
Aww.
I think I may have heard of a story, something like that.
He died in December, and he had always sent her yellow roses with a single red rose in the middle of it with a message. And knowing that he was going to die, he had the worst kind of brain cancer, that glioblastoma or whatever it's called, the really bad one. And he
Blastoma?
It's the G. It starts with a G and then has blastoma on the end of it. Blastoma. But it's the brain cancer that kills you in just very few months. Same one that Senator McCain died of. And knowing that he was going to die, he pre-ordered his Valentine flowers and had them prepared to be sent, and she received a note from him and the flowers on Valentine's Day from her deceased husband. Imagine what that would feel like. Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That's a hell of a way to say goodbye.
Oh, it is.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he was throwing kisses at her from heaven.
Oh.
So that was an amazing story. Great story. Okay, now let's get into where we were with our story last week. They spent most of the evening at the City of the Dead. And I'm going to move your marker over to kind of an image of City of the Dead. They had several things that were going on. They left Erstal at one of the main offices of the guilds that are there, and they met a dwarf woman who was connected to the Zentarum, and the people who have met with her have introduced her as a cousin, which is going to get even more complicated shortly. But they brought her back to the inn. Her real name is Istrid, although that may adjust a bit. And she is staying at the inn, hiding out at the inn, because basically there's been an arrest warrant put out for all of the Zentarum, especially the Zentarum hierarchy. So she threw herself upon the mercy of some members and begged for a refuge to be in. Now, many things were going on at the City of the Dead, and we kind of rushed towards the end of it as we were getting short on time. And I cut off the shepherd a bit where he wasn't able to get some of his business done. Shep, what was it you were going to do? You were going to talk with Erstal, but we didn't have time.
Yeah, the shepherd would take Ursula aside before leaving them at the Gravekeepers Guild. Now that we are in less stressful times and you can actually see, I want you to take a look at this dagger one more time. And I'll pull out the jeweled dagger that I had out during this interrogation.
He kind of, with a sigh, takes the dagger and actually picks it up this time rather than just looking at it from a distance. And he kind of has a look like, well, there's nothing to see. It's a dagger. And he turns it over, and you see a kind of a start on him. And he goes, "Where did you get this dagger?"
That is for me to know. Do you recognize it?
I recognize the crest.
Ooh.
The
And I look down at it.
sea with the flowers entwined around it. Don't you recognize that? You should know. It's the Castellanters.
I was just about to ask it, do I recognize it as Castellanters?
Now that you really look at it and start making connections, you realize it was highly jeweled and stylized. But yes, when you look at it really hard, you can tell that it is the Castellanter crest.
I'll hold my hand out for him to return the dagger. Thank you for taking another look.
What did the Castellanters have to do with this dagger?
There was an investigation into this cult that you mentioned to me last night. Long before. Now I have some new evidence.
Yes, they are tied up to their noble knickers in it.
And I'm still waiting for him to return the dagger.
Yeah, he hands it back to you.
And I'll take it back. Thank you again for looking at it. If you need anything to possibly leave the city, let me know and I'll find a way to get you out.
He nods. Once things have cooled down, I have ways of getting out of the city, but I will gladly lay low for a while.
I'll give him a nod and then bid him farewell.
And the group then regathers at the gates of the City of the Dead and heads back towards Troll Skull Alley. Is there anything else anybody wants to complete that we didn't get to on last week's thing?
No, I think I got everything done. That was on my plate for here.
Well, only that Cashin would elaborate on where he was while they were doing their things.
Very good.
He would just cryptically state that he was visiting an old friend.
Okay.
To do. Varus doesn't have anything else, but it is more worth it that he has stalking.
Not to boost you.
Can you guys hear me?
You broke up just a little bit.
Okay. Varus doesn't have anything to actually do, but I, as the player, want that brewing going down.
Yep.
I've basically just been stocking up on stuff and just letting. So we should be good on that for a while.
Now,
Also,
go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Cashin would also note that while returning to the inn, he'd hand Varus 5 gold, saying that he took one of the bottles to the City of the Dead.
Oh, I appreciate it. It wasn't quite ready yet, but I suppose they won't be complaining.
Well, the dead don't often do that.
Thank you for this. I'll make sure to put it to good use. 5 gold point.
Just be careful about drinking all of our profits now.
It's alright. I'll get over this.
I now have 10 gold. In one fell swoop, you have doubled the amount of money I have.
Hey.
Were you like, how broke were you?
Monks.
He's the one reason he's trying to get his quest done.
Oh yeah,
Monks
no.
don't have money.
Oh yeah, no. I forgot. I forgot.
They do not believe in material things.
Alms for the
What's
poor, man. Alms for the poor. Come on, hurry up.
All right,
All right.
so you journey back to Troll Skull. I'll put you on the big map. And Istrid, the others, the ones who have spoken with her in more detail, know that she has promised them a decent amount of money for the Troll Skull Inn if they will put her up. But the rest of you just know that you've suddenly been burdened with yet another mouth to feed is about all you know at this point. And she immediately, when you get back to the Troll Skull Alley, she goes in to where she's been shown where she can sleep and is gone for maybe half an hour. And suddenly the door opens and a male dwarf walks in.
In from that same room?
Not from the rooms. Remember, the rooms are inaccessible from the inn itself. So this male dwarf just opens the door kind of like he owns the place and just walks in the front door. He is a dark-skinned, doesn't look like he's necessarily a Duergar, but he's dark-skinned dwarf, similar to the way she looked, but apparently is one of her relative or something.
Hello, sir. Is there anything... I don't believe we're open currently.
We are
Anything I
not.
can do for you?
Don't worry about it. I've been told I could remain here for a while.
You've been told wrong.
There is a gleam, and he grins lopsided and looks at Relian and Epiphany and winks very heavily and says, I believe these two here told me that I would be staying at the inn. I'm willing to do any janitorial services you need.
We were told that there was a female dwarf that would be joining us.
Ah, well, you were told wrong, Sonny. It appears that I'm staying instead. My name's Yorn.
I'm looking over at Relian and Epiphany.
Question.
I'm rolling insight.
Yeah, I was about to say, can Varys take an insight check to assess the general situation?
Sure.
I'm going to assume this is happening when I've already left for the tower.
Well, we had already decided that after she got settled, you went to the tower, so that was kind of rushed. That's what happened. We rushed through to get that in, and now we're kind of filling in the blanks.
Getcha. Alright, I'm gonna try my hand at this insight, because I'm like, there's way too much suspicious shit going on.
Oh my.
Nockley knows what's going on.
Nockley kind of judges this dwarf up and down and looks at his body weight and a few things, and there's something just a touch wrong when she looks really closely. She just has a feeling the voice and everything. She just has this feeling that maybe he's not always cracked up to be.
I remember the coin lady. Who's this person?
Coin lady. She's used magic to alter herself, but we don't know that yet.
Okay. I thought she would. Well, so she's appearing like a guy.
A dude, yeah.
So,
I didn't catch that last week.
No, this is
She just
what we're
did
doing
it.
now, yeah.
it just changed. She disappeared up to
Okay,
the
so-
rooms, and when this person came down and walked in the front door, they were not a female dwarf. They were a male dwarf.
See, that wasn't part of the deal.
They had altered the deal. Prayed they do not alter it any further.
They're not the ones in charge.
I'm going to politely, because how many people are in the room right now?
I think it's all of us.
All of them.
I'd say all of you are.
Okay, I'm just double checking on our escort. He's not with us at the moment. He's still outside.
Who is? Oh, he stopped at the guard stopped outside. Yes.
I'm going to politely put a hand on the shoulder, squeeze just a tiny bit, and force coax them to the back of the inn.
Yorn follows fairly willingly, still with the kind of a lopsided grin on their face.
My fellows might be a bit willing to look another way, but I see through this. Now, I'm not sure what deal you've made with the people who work underneath me, but know this very well. I don't deal with trickery. I don't deal with too many lies. I won't necessarily question your actions, but don't go trying to change a gender on me like that. At least be moderately just forthcoming in case questions are being asked of my intentions. Are we clear?
Oh, we're clear, lass, but I wish to tell you, you'll get far more questions about me if I didn't appear this way. If I appeared as I was before, you'd be getting questions every day and every minute, and probably you'd be getting your doors closed again. Are you willing to go for that?
Not necessarily, but if that is the nature of why you're doing this, at least be forthcoming with us.
Oh, I shall, whatever you need. But it's the ones outside, and she throws her head towards the door. The ones standing outside and what have you, they would be less forgiving of it.
I don't need to know details. I just want to make sure that at least I know what I'm going to be dealing with. And I'll turn back to the others and motion for Relian.
Is Relian going to come?
I'm sorry. The dog was distracting me. What?
Motioning for Relian to come over. Come over. I call Relian over.
Roland is going to lean down and whisper in Epi's ear, "If she kills me, avenge me."
We will ensure that she suffers. And
We'll
then
have
Epiphany
another-
Then Epiphany looks at the screen. No, we won't.
And then we'll have another ghost to serve the meals in the end.
We'll have a ghost bartender
One
and
of
a
those-
ghost cook.
More like one of those fiery poltergeists. But anyway, Brilliant makes his way over.
Relian,
What's up, Sugar Scales?
I'm not sure what you've gotten me involved in, nor am I going to ask questions. I feel the less that I know, the better. However, I do believe your very intriguing cousin is needing to remain as anonymous as possible, and I have no issue doing that task. But
Peculiarities run in the family, in case you haven't noticed.
let's just try to let's try to make the disguise work in a way that it will reduce the amount of questions asked. Many people saw a lady come towards here, and now there's a gentleman. Dwarves don't necessarily grow beards in a matter of seconds.
I don't know what kind of dwarves you've had experience with.
So
So what's the bottom line here?
they can stay, but let's try to say that the lady disguise was more of a joke on the way, in case anyone asks. I figured
Cross-dresser, gotcha.
Exactly. I don't think you have a problem with that, now do you?
To each his own.
And it's more along the lines of also addressing the dwarf who has not been let go of.
All right, so once it is all solved and Nakri is satisfied with what's going on reasonably well, is there anything else you would do before we'll have the sort of blip in time where you went to the Temple of Gond and then returned again?
Not from my camp.
If they come back, the shepherd would have a pair of boots and a scrubbing brush, probably like as big as a push broom, and be like, "So you said you were willing to do any janitorial duties? This is great. I was planning to clean out the latrine today. That can be your job." And I hand him the boots.
He lifts an eyebrow so high it goes clear up into the hairline, but he smirks at you and says, "You be testing me already. Well, I suppose beggars can't be choosers. Give me the brush and the boots, and I'll handle your task for you."
There you go. Hand him the galoshes and the brush.
And he heads out back. I assume it's the latrine outside that you're having him clean?
Yep.
Very good. He heads out to the latrines in back. There are more private privies for people inside that rent rooms, but for the tavern goers, just a couple of outhouses out back. All right, so while the place is being cleaned up and gussied up, you are now capable of reopening the doors if you so choose, if you think you are ready. Meanwhile, the group, most of the group, Epiphany stays behind, I believe, but most of the group headed off to the Temple of Inspired Hands and had the discussion with Nim regarding his invention and what he had done with it that we have from last week. So what did you do following the Temple of Gond? Did you return to Troll Skull Alley?
I believe so.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Cashew stayed at the Troll Skull as well.
How much, by the time we get back to Troll Skull from the temple, how much time would there be until dusk?
It would still be a good 3 hours before the sun would set. It's only about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So some of you had mentioned you had some business things you wanted to handle, or if you have business things regarding Troll Skull Alley, now would be the time to do it.
Yeah, I've on the way back, I've just been jotting down real quick to be rewritten a list of a to-do list for the other ladies who work there.
Ferris will suggest that we get a move on sooner rather than later. He would like to the farmer.
He would like what? You broke up.
He would like to interview some of the farmers and see what's been going on before nightfall, so that they have some sort of forewarning.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
And during the time they were at the temple, Cashin would have asked Trench to look into that part of the docks, find anything suspicious.
Trench rubs his hands together with a very intense look, like he enjoys the challenge, and I rather like what you're saying. A little bit of espionage makes the blood pump. I'll go see what I can find out down there.
So,
Wait, who's Trench again? Sorry.
The Tiger's Eye investigator.
Oh, okay.
Impeccably well dressed.
so Cashin is staying back, and so is Epiphany.
Cashin only stayed during while they were at the House of Inspired Hands.
Long enough to answer a quick question.
In other words, Epiphany wants to RP with Cashin. Is Cashin there?
He wants
Yeah,
to.
might as well.
He has a specific question that they would like to ask. So during this time, Epiphany comes up. Vane Leaper, we have a query.
Cashin just looks at him and he's like, well, you're probably going to ask it anyway, so he just...
That would be correct. We get the impression that you do not like us very much. We are curious as to why.
You are an odd thing, he says after a couple moments of silence. You have the look of a beast. Look, I know people who look less presentable like you, but it's the way you act.
It is the way we act, and I see. And is this a irreconcilable thing?
I'm not really sure. It's up to the two of us, I suppose.
Simply put, we do not wish to have antagonism with you, but if you seek it, it will be given.
Just don't eat anyone.
No promises are made.
We will eat no one that you like,
Oh,
or
I suppose
are aware of.
Well, I guess that'd be the best I can get.
Now it's just a question of whether or not Epiphany is serious or has a really good sense of humor.
And thus the compromise was made that Epiphany would try to avoid eating things in Cashin's view, but when he's out of
Oh
his
no,
view,
that was not part of the
anything's on.
He wouldn't eat anyone he knew in front of him.
He would
All right.
attempt.
That's true.
We are right back at Troll
Not
School.
good. Not good, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually, everybody regathers back at Troll Skull with the new information regarding the rogue nimblewright. And are you going to share information with Cashin and Epiphany? The shepherd went with them, right?
Yeah, I remember asking them a question last week, so I would have had to go.
All right. So are all of you sharing information with Cashin or Epiphany?
Oh yeah, it's pretty much just like, so here's what we found out, and just kind of laid it all out, as well as the backwards connection to another fun headache we had in the past, dealing with a wonderful boat that showed up, and how long Nim has really been in the city for.
It is interesting how this fellow just keeps turning up like a bad penny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a small thought. If
Usually I'm the one
certain-
with small thoughts.
I'm
Yes.
it's putting it lightly. What if the nimblewright that ended up in the hands of the Growlins isn't the correct nimblewright that's supposed to be there?
Well, according...
What if they intended for Nim to show up at their house?
Well,
And
according
didn't-
to...
And didn't expect the House of Inspired Hands to bind him to their place? Is a small theory I'm working on.
Well, all I have to say
Following
is...
what you're saying.
the House of Inspired Hands is a scapegoat in whatever is going on. To have a rogue nimblewright on the loose would mean they're losing control, which means they're losing favor. People would be focused on them and not where the thing actually came from. Most people, they see a nimblewright, they're not going to automatically assume person A. They're going to assume who has the most nimblewrights in the city.
So you think that the House of Inspired Hands is being framed?
Yes.
It's
I wouldn't.
possible, I suppose.
I wouldn't put doubt on that theory. That does sound like something that could logically happen.
It's a
Waterdeep,
sleight of hand.
course it is.
It's a sleight of hand and misdirection. And think about it. When we all thought that there was a nimblewright in the loose, where did we go first? Where did the guards go first? They went to the House of the Inspired Hands, who are known to have them.
Well,
It's something.
Very well.
I mean, it's something to think on. Oops, we lost one.
We lost Cashin.
No.
He just got so shocked that he
Yeah.
had to break free from reality.
Yeah.
There we
There
go.
he is.
He's back.
Yeah, I had to deal with a laggy connection.
Poopish.
Yeah, I have experience with those.
Anyway,
Okay, so quick rundown as to Knocker's theory is that the House of Inspired
I
Hands
know.
is basically scapegoats.
well, if Shepard divulged what he knows about the nimblewright that was spotted at the house,
Which I did.
Cashin would be skeptical about that theory, considering, well, one, no one knows that that Nim made a nimblewright.
No,
I
Well,
will tell
uh,
you that information that Shepard got from Erstal would tend to run a counter to that theory, because Erstal made various references to that damned nimblewright that she had and various things when he was talking her down. He was very disgusted with her sending the nimblewright and basically wrecking the whole maneuver that was going on.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't quite run counter to what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking that perhaps they weren't expecting Nim to build a nimblewright to get on the loose, but that they were expecting Nim to get on the loose.
Well, I don't.
It's just a theory. It's one that we can take a look at.
Look deeper into the further we find ourselves entangled in this fun little web.
Well, I have I have our neighbor, Mr. Trench, investigating anything curious going on at the docks. So when we get back,
You may want
Yeah.
to give him a heads up if they haven't left already before we leave, that they may be connected back into the circus.
I told him to investigate anything suspicious. If anything is about the circus, he'll tell me.
I mean, fair enough, but still, we know how tricky that group is. Anyways, we must be off. We have only a few hours, and we have many things to do before we settle in for tonight's adventure.
And I know Varys has been trying to say something, so what has he got?
Sorry.
I was just asking an OSC question of Lynn about her theory. You keep saying they were expecting Nim instead of the rogue nimblewright. Who the they in this?
The Growlins and whoever is working with them, I'm assuming.
Okay.
Perhaps they have information that they know of Nim and are trying to do their deeds and pass it off as the House of Inspired Hands doing the deeds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, that's the only thing.
Yeah, I mean, we could have clarified that in text, but anyways, moving on.
I will also reiterate and clarify as we move forward that one of the things you were told that the rogue nimblewright had been made largely with a blue tinged metal skin, and that was one of the ways that
Nim is not blue.
Right, he's a kind of a golden red.
For now,
Yeah.
we shall refer to the rogue nimblewright as Cobalt.
There you go.
No,
Anyway,
Very good.
So Varys starts gathering, well, has gathered up. He doesn't have a whole lot, and waits by the door to see Wall is ready to go.
Is
Cashin is
everybody
sober and ready to go.
is anybody remaining behind on this trek?
Well, I think we're all going out. Nokri will have given Leaf the notices and orders for the day for the ladies, and whatnot. To say, where is it? Do we want to keep? I know we're granted to reopen, but do we want to keep the place closed for at least one or 2 days more to just give us time to actually be there for stuff? Or
I'd say stay closed until we return. Actually,
Okay.
I'd
Yeah,
say
so we'll
closed
just-
at least tonight.
okay, so we'll do running orders of pretty much just if the girls can tidy upstairs, Leaf can magically unlock the door for them. Just to tidy upstairs, don't go past the first level of bedchamber rooms to the private rooms, and just focus on straightening up.
Today is the 4th day of High Harvesttide, which is the holidays half 10 day that runs between seasons. High Harvesttide is one of those season breakers that's only 5 days. It is the 4th of High Harvesttide. Tomorrow is the 5th of High Harvesttide, and following that you will go into the month of Marpanoth, which is the next month, and will be out of High Harvesttide. The next holiday period is Inventor's Day, which Cashin had mentioned earlier in sort of on the side, that is the day that all of the nimblewrights and all of the creations from the Temple of Inspired Hands are put on display. There are prayers offered at the Temple of Gon for constructions, and there's a big parade in which this large contingent of the temple's nimblewrights march in the parade.
Seems like it could be used to someone's advantage to cause chaos.
Let's not think that far in advance, and let's hope for the best. Right now, let's just.
For now, let's focus on the task at hand.
Pretty much.
If you will look at the map, probably your best way of heading for the farmlands is to go out the north gate, which is fairly close to Trollskull Alley as the city goes. And you would be able to go around. Some of the really large noble farms are the first ones that you come to, and then as you go further down around, come down below the bluff of the city, you have the smaller farms where numerous farmers have gathered houses together and have smaller plots in a conglomerate sort of thing in order to compete with the more noble farms.
Alright.
So are we just teleporting there, like fast forward?
Unless you have business to be done along the way, I will say that you move steadily through the city and arrive at the north gate. Does anybody have anything they want to do on the way?
I'll make sure that the guard knows we're leaving the city with us.
And he will fall in behind you dutifully. Follow you to the gate. He will go ahead of you at the north gate, present his papers. He will be seen talking with the guards for some time, explaining the situation about who you are, what you've been told to do, and why he is with you. And eventually, after a few looks back and forth between the gate guards and the corporal that is there with you, they eventually hand him back these papers and motion you through.
Cashin just waves at them happily, even if some of them just glare at him.
One of them doesn't seem to recognize you. The other one looks you up and down and kind of glances over at the corporal like, really? He's coming with you? But he doesn't do anything because the papers have all been cleared, and so he just turns with a kind of poker face and looks back towards the city and ignores you.
After we leave the gates, Varys will turn to Cashin. They're walking. Cashin, what is it with all the guards in this city giving you the stink eye?
Well, you may have gotten used to it by now, but I do smell, don't I? Don't worry, I'll tell you later.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything, but... now that you've brought it up, I mean, you constantly smell like booze and broken dreams.
That about sums me up.
It shouldn't be the only thing to define you, but such as things are.
I'll explain it all in good time.
Oh, I do hope so.
You keep on heading out. The first farm you come to is one of the noble farms. The Amund's farm area is quite large. It has walls around its enclosure. It has lots of crops of all kinds in it, and it has guards that are posted around this walled enclosure. They look like they are probably pretty much keeping up with their own guard situation involved with the things. Do you wish to visit this farm?
It's during my tell me which area of farms typically it was coming from. Eastward among the Undercliff farms. Okay, I just saw it. So Varys will say, the reports were coming in from a little bit farther south, more towards Undercliff.
Little boy Blue, this is your show.
It's fine. You're the one in charge on this one, so go for it.
I'll lead the way down to Undercliff farm.
I've got a question real quick as we're moving forward. Would the rest of us notice Cashin is like looking around and looking at the ground and stuff like that?
In other words, Cashin, he's asking if you, whoever's typing, you're over-typing my voice.
Sorry.
He's asking Cashin if his demeanor would be something sort of negative that the others would notice.
No, he's just looking for the herbs that Fala asked for.
Yeah, what I'm asking is, would we notice that you're actually looking for something, or have you told the rest of us about your little herb gathering exercise?
Yes, he has told them.
Okay, well in that case, would it be possible to assist him?
Yes. Yeah, you would give him the help action is what you would do. I need two things up here. That's the other one that I need up. First give me a roll for the kind of up and down hill area that you are in, very low rolling hills that you're in as you start out of the city. And let's see what you get. The first thing I need to do, you are using intelligence or wisdom for your roll?
Wisdom.
All right, so give me a d20 plus your wisdom mod.
a survival check, Madam DM?
No, this is specific to herbalism. This is a specific thing that I've got set up based on a UA that uses it. You do not find any herbs in the hills as you are coming out. It's kind of dry this late in autumn. The rains haven't been around for a while, and a lot of the herbs are wilting when you get further out from where it's been tended. It's possible that in the grasslands and farms you will have better luck, but you do not find any in this area. We need a help action. You might with a help. Yeah, you would with a help action, because even a 1 would do it. Help action is a 1d4. Yes,
Gives you advantage.
gives him advantage. Okay, roll again then.
I would have taken the 1d4. That's an assured.
Well, it's whatever help action is. I can't remember which one's which.
Thank you, Varys.
Nope, he doesn't find any herbs this time around. It's a D15.
Cashin, what exactly are you looking for?
I told you. The apothecary wants herbs.
I have some proficiency in herbcraft, and I might be able to help a little bit. What exactly are you looking?
Anything, common herbs, healing herbs,
Yeah, she just said the herbalist said that their herbs were getting low. Yeah, I'm corrected. Their herbs were getting low, and that they just needed whatever could be found while he was journeying around. He found some when he was in the City of the Dead, but he hasn't found any yet tonight.
Okay. In that case, if we stop back by the herbalist's shop, I could actually grow them some more, depending on how much we find.
Why don't you? Do you have an herbalism kit?
I have an herbalism kit and proficiency in herbalist's tool.
All right, so you would be able to add your proficiency to the D20 roll. So go ahead and give me an herbalism kit roll to see what you roll on your higher possibility of finding it. It's a DC 15.
Wisdom check, right?
Yeah, it's the highest of wisdom or intellect, your choice.
Gosh, dang it.
Nope. There's just none growing here. It's just too dry. The dust is kind of kicking up as you walk along. But as you get down a little further, come off of the hills a little bit and down into the lower farms, you are seeing that there's a little bit more moisture in the grass, and probably there will be some better chances to find it down in the farm areas, down in the plain areas. So you can try again when you get down there. As you get down to where you are on this map, you are in the area of the smaller farms. You see numerous houses that look like small single-family dwellings that have grouped together in bunches and then have their farm fields around them so that they can get the help from each other to maintain the farms.
Are there people out in the fields right now, or does it look like mostly everyone's inside?
No, at this time, people are still working in the fields. The farm families work very long hours from absolutely dawn until dusk to make ends meet, so they are out there working.
Okay, Varys will go over to... I assume these farms are like fenced off.
There's a little bit of a fence, stone wall sort of thing between groups of these houses. It's like various houses have grouped into their own little consortium and have sort of put a low river rock wall in between the different divisions. So like this is a very small little group. It's only 2 houses, but this group over here looks like it's a larger group of several houses that are involved together.
Okay. Varys will go up to, not necessarily right at the edge, but like a little bit back, away from one of these walls where he sees the farmers and say, "Excuse me, sir."
The farmer stops hoeing, wipes his brow, and looks up. Aye, what can I do for you?
Varys will take out the medallion he got from his meeting with the lady, present it for him to see, and says, my name is Varys Lunadal. I'm here on business from the Emerald Enclave. We had reports of some sort of activity disturbing animals and such.
Aye, you're referring to those hideous, corrupted things that look like scarecrows.
Sure.
I've been lucky so far. We've not been bothered. The farms further to the south were attacked about a 10 days ago, but we've been standing watch. I've got to admit, I'm glad there's a little bit of help. We're exhausted. We've been defending our fields at night, and we're just about done for. I was hoping some of the guards would come, and he looks at the group. Oh, you brought a guard too. This is good.
I made sure to have at least a little bit of city support for this endeavor.
And Cassian will just put his hand around what's his name again? Benny?
Oh, you say Benny, and I think of all the necklaces on the mummy character. His name was Corporal Bender, I believe it was.
I'll just call him Benny. And he just wraps his arm around Benny's shoulder and just hugs him close, like, play along.
Wait, is he still with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has to escort us.
This is what he had to do.
He's a babysitter.
This is what he had to do, yes. He's doing what... He's really glad you've gone out of the city, because now at least he feels a little bit useful.
Meanwhile, I actually just go and look and glare at him.
Yeah, he's pretty much been camped out on our front porch for the past 2 days.
I mean, we could have been real jerks from the way to make him wait another week, but sorry.
No. Okay.
Like I said, we could have.
Varys will wave and say, "Thank you for the information. Do you have anyone specific you know of that we might need to talk to?"
Any one of the farmers will tell you the same. We're all on the lookout for these things. They seem to appear in a different farm each time, and they've been moving steadily north, so we've been very worried.
Thank you for letting me know. We'll get this taken care of. Thank you for everything you do. And Varys will wave and start on his way down to the southern farms.
Okay, so you're going to head down there first?
What do you mean?
Well, they've already been attacked, and he said the attacks were moving northward.
Right. It's we still have like 2 hours until the sun sets, right?
Okay, so you're going to interview. That's what I'm asking. You're going to interview the various farms. Okay.
And also some herbalism.
Yep.
Yeah, he's also trying to keep an eye.
Yeah, I will figure about once an hour you'll be able to do this up to 3 times during this trip that you can do it. So you've got 2 more rolls you can make. So if you want at this point to make your second roll, you can. Each of you can roll.
Do I have assistance on this?
Help can be given on one or the other if somebody is giving help.
Cassian will. He's the one who got the job after all.
Okay, because you can each make a roll. Cassian and Varys can make a roll. Okay. Yeah.
Not bad rolls from either.
Yeah, it's very good rolls. So both of you are
plentiful here.
Both of you are able to find, as you get down near this pond, you see quite a few herbs. See, you are in the grasslands. I want each of you to give me a 2d6 roll, please. This isn't a score thing. This is just a random. Let's see. Cassian found some Dracus flowers. And I need a d4 roll to see how many of them you found, Cassian.
Come on. Come on. Roll already.
Rolling, why is it still rolling?
Keep rolling, 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 rolling.
Finally.
I was wondering when that song was going to pop up.
Okay, so Cashin found 3 Dracus flowers, and with a 4, Varus found lavender sprigs. Give me a d4 roll, Varus. You found, since this is 2 times the amount rolled because they come in large bunches, you found 4 lavender.
Good old low-level D&D, looking for herb.
I mean, why
Yeah.
not?
Gathering quests. The bread and butter.
Hey man, you gather enough stuff, you might be able to make your own potions.
Still no cowbell, though.
Are we looking for cowbell? Cowbell?
It's a joke.
All right.
So Varus will go ahead and talk. Basically the same sort of question. So they'll ask what they look like about.
You're breaking up.
Yeah, we got every other word of that.
He'll ask the same sort of questions of everyone he talks to. As a blanket statement, he will ask basically what the things look like, how many there were, what time they came at, and what direction they came from and left.
As you get to this group of houses, they describe basically a scarecrow-looking thing, but the scarecrow seems to have different appearances. Sometimes it appears with a pumpkin head, sometimes it has like a stuffed canvas bag head, and various things that are on these skeletons. They don't know if it changes its head each time or what, but they do know that the appearance has changed, that they've heard this thing, and each time they indicate that the farms further south, basically if you zoom out with the map, you eventually get together that farms down here, clear towards the south, were the first ones that got it, and it has been moving steadily up the map, and that these farms in this area right here are the most recent attacks that were found. They occurred just one night ago.
Okay, so it looks like the general area might.
It does look like it is moving north into that area, yes.
So whatever these are, they're kind of following the road? Question mark?
Well, they are moving north is all that can be said.
Okay.
He will also ask what they are doing. Like, are they burning crops, killing, attacking?
They are not harming the crops themselves, except there seem to be large holes in the ground. When the farmers go out afterwards to see what was going on, there were large holes in the ground, and some of the crops are damaged from these holes. But the crops themselves are not being eaten. However, animals are. Farm animals are being eaten. And the farmers are terrified. They're keeping their smaller children indoors.
How big are these holes in the ground?
From what they describe, and the further, when you ask this question, when you talk to the most northernmost house that you stop at, the hole is like 4 feet across. But as you move southward, the size of the hole diminishes until it's probably only about 2.5 feet in diameter. But apparently this telling has gotten a little bigger the further north, so you're not really sure how much of it is gossip and how much of it is fact.
Okay, so the largest hole that we could see on this questioning adventure was 4 feet wide.
Yeah, the more northern houses they're saying, oh, I understand this thing was like 4 feet or 5 feet across. It was some huge monster that crawled out of the ground.
They're saying the story's getting exaggerated.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the fisherman tale.
The holes keep getting, but the holes are noticeably getting bigger, though.
No.
The story about the holes is getting bigger.
Oh, okay.
You have not seen any holes yet because they're still saying
that's where my confusion was.
they're still saying the attacks have come down south, but you are getting very close to where the last attack.
Okay.
Okay. Varys will go down to one of the farms that has already been attacked and see for himself exactly how big one of these holes are.
When you get down to this area, you meet some very upset farmers who are out working in the fields, but they tell you that they had farm animals killed. The ones to the west of you had several goats killed, and the farmer on the other side, on this side to the east, had a cow killed. The cow and goats were pretty well devoured. They were not just slaughtered, they were also devoured. And they point to their fields, and when you get out there, you find basically what you would consider a hole large enough that a human could get in and out of. It's probably only about 2 feet in diameter. A slender human could get in and out of the hole. It looks like a mole hole, actually, a kind of a mound or gopher mound sort of thing with this.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. I'm sorry that this is. I'm sorry that this has happened to you. We'll do whatever we can to stop this. If I have my way, this will be taken care of by the end.
I don't know what we're going to do about our animals. That was our only milk for our children. I've got to get some of these crops to market. If you pardon me, I've got to get back to work. I've got to buy another cow, and they've got to get goats.
How much? Do I know how much a cow goes for in Waterdeep?
Somebody will have to look somewhere there in the DM guide. There is a listing of animals and how much they cost. I do not have them memorized.
I don't have. I'll go ahead and give the goat farmer. I'll give him 2 gold. Give the.
He salutes you. In fact, he reaches out and pumps your hand a bit. Thank you, sir. This should at least be enough to buy a calf, if nothing else. I thank you very much. You just don't know how you've helped.
It's not enough to repay the loss of everything as well as your worth, but it is, and I'm sorry that I can't afford more.
Oh,
Cashin turns out his pockets and gives each one 10 gold.
Oh damn!
oh, they just fall all over him, because that'll be enough to get very definitely to get some of their milk animals back that they need, and they are very, very happy with that. Thank you, sir. You're a true kind heart, both of you. Thank you so much for helping us. I mean, the town should have helped. We're their source of food, but they seem to think it's just all our responsibility.
The City Watch tends not to get involved until actual people get. Luckily, we at the Emerald Enclave try to help a little bit before it escalates to that point.
Then, sir, I salute the Emerald Enclave. I'll take them more seriously from now on. Thank you. You've done a great favor for us. Now see to the farms to the north, because I know they're going to be visited too.
We'll make sure that we stop whatever it is that happens. You have our thanks. So I'll step back off for it. Do you want me to go ahead and do the 3rd roll for
Yeah, go ahead because dusk is falling, so it's starting to get fairly late in the evening. So both of you can give me your rolls for herbs. Oh yes. Nope.
I will
Ve-
use the help action for Cashin.
and
Somehow
unfortunately,
you
He's too
were.
drunk.
yeah,
Hey, he's sober.
yeah, he just isn't quite as good. But at least Varys is able to fill his little satchel with more of them. And an 11. You are able to find tail leaf. Please roll a d4 to tell me how many of them you found. 2 of them. You found 2 tail leaf. I'll write that here.
And
All right.
Varys will say, Varys will Ashen say, once we get back into the city, I can actually harvest, grow the herbalist more.
I'm pretty sure they'll be grateful for that.
I just realized because of your roll on one of the things there, Cashin, you actually hit a different thing. You need to roll me a D100. If you roll 25% or lower, within that 25%, something else will happen.
Oh, well.
No, that's it. That's what you want. You want below 20.
Oh.
I roll it backwards when I do it because I just say if there's a 25% chance, then 1 to 25 is the 25. I know a lot of DMs do the 75%. Above it is 25, but I just do the 25. So you rolled below 25. You therefore did hit this. You notice a very odd-looking section of water near a pond that is glistening a kind of metallic blue. And when you look at it very closely, you think maybe it is something that Fala might be able to use in their herbalism. So you decide to fill up whatever you are able to fill with this water. And remind me about that when you get back to town so I can tell you what it was you found.
Okay, just going to put that in the chat.
All right, so what farm are you going to pick up here to camp out to see if you can spot this corruption that's occurring?
Okay, so we decided that this area was probably one that was going to get hit, right?
Yeah, probably, one of these groups of farm fields here is probably it. So we'll stop at this point and you guys will set up your camp for what you are going to do for the night. How are you going? Let me put you over on a map which will allow you to set yourself up. I got to look at it first and see if I have anything that I need setting up. You notice that the farmers have placed actual scarecrows in their fields, apparently with an attempt to they've tried to make them very realistic. They look very human, and they're apparently trying to scare these things off. You also notice that there are several farm animal areas at these houses as well, and I'm missing one. Just a second. Let me get this.
Before they settle down and wait, Varys will go to one of these farms that has smaller animals, but a lot of them. So like goats, pigs, or chickens, like that. And he will ask if he can buy a couple of things off of her, and be forthright and let them know that he is going to bait or whatever going on scare.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just putting some animals on the board. Hang on.
All right.
By the way, did they answer how many of these creatures there were, or was it just came at the same, or was that time?
You are, give me, what would an intuit? Give me an insight check. It's not perception, it's not investigation, so I'm going to say it's an insight check.
That's not great.
Yeah, I'm going to say your beginning as you listen to these stories. Different farmers describe these different images of things that came up, and either there are more than one of them, or the thing changes its head regularly. They definitely appear with different heads on. They have one of them has this it won't work on that. It has like a pumpkin head. One of them has a skull. One of them is wearing what looks to be a mask that is taped on the front of straw, and the other one looks like it's got a canvas bag with eyes and mouth painted on it, sort of thing. So you are getting a variety of appearances that are in these scenarios. So you're starting to suspect there might be at least a couple of them.
Okay.
This area has a lot of farm fields, so obviously it's a pretty good choice of where you might be able to go for what you've got. So let me put you on this map, and there actually would be more goats in this one farm. Really, I've got it on there. So basically, they are willing to sell you a couple of their goats. Partly, they figure that they haven't got much to lose if you're willing to buy the goats. Do we have a going price yet from the DMG, from anyone, on what farm animals cost?
Yeah, let me
A draft horse.
I'll Google it.
Dungeon.
This episode sponsored by.
Brett, you're going to have to put yourself on push to talk.
I'm just going through my books.
Yeah, but it's over talking us.
This is the right one. No, player's handbook.
Yeah, so a pony would be 30 gold, and a draft horse would be 50, and a donkey or a mule would be 8.
Okay, so I would say that probably let's see, donkeys would be about the same as a cow. So I would say it would be an 8. And then the goats would probably be 5 apiece.
Okay. So I will.
No voice. I didn't hear what you said.
I only have 4.
Tape that thing to the side of your head.
I don't have any tape. Here, I'll just
put it in your mouth.
That ought to be interesting.
What? You don't have what?
I will beg a gold off of someone else so I can purchase this goat.
Will someone purchase a goat from this guy?
Relian's going to throw 3 gold at him. Like, literally chuck it at his head.
Tink, tink, tink.
Deflect missiles.
There you go!
Thank you, really, and here you go, sir. It's I hope to return this goat to you unharmed, but no promises.
All right, do I have your tokens on this map? I do not, do I?
Nope.
All right, let's everybody pull your tokens over to the farm, if you would. It'd be faster
Abby.
that way than me doing it.
Eppy. Blue Boy is poor.
He's a monk.
Where's Nakri?
Friend Relian, we are poor.
Hey, Nakri.
Yeah, but he doesn't know.
I'm here. I've just been debating on thinking on things. I've just been following along. I don't
Just pull your token
No,
over.
you just pull your token out.
I just need your token on the map.
That was missing. Sorry. There you
By
go.
the way, Blue Boy, you owe me 3 gold.
I'll pay it back at some point once I have more money.
Plus interest.
No.
He's so firm.
I may be money poor, but I am culture rich.
Okay, so we've got your tokens on the board and sized reasonably correct. So you've got a number of farm fields and these scarecrows that have been placed in the fields with an attempt to scare off the scarecrows. How do you want to set up? Do you want to talk? You've talked to this farmer about his goat. He looks at the group of you and says, "If you don't mind, sir, I'd really rather not stand guard tonight. I've been doing it every night for days."
Of course, you can go in and you may be woken up, but we'll take care of it.
Okay, so you bought 2 goats?
Yep.
All right, let me turn control of the goats over to the party so you can move these 2 goats.
And then what direction did they say that these scarecrows have been coming from?
They've been moving northward, so
Yeah,
they'll be coming from the south. Well, possibly.
It's not that they're moving, it's just that they seem to appear in farms overnight, and they don't know how they're getting there or what's going on except for these holes in the ground. And so they don't seem to be coming from anywhere, but the attacks themselves started in the southernmost farms. Then there was an attack in a little bit more north, and then there was an attack a little bit more north.
Look, Blue, one thing we know for sure is they're targeting the animals. They seem to be either taking or eating the animals. Why don't we just set up camp near the pens?
I was going to suggest that. Also, it may be that they're popping out of the ground itself.
Mole people, I know it!
Cash and come on, let's just move these goats out into one of the fields and stake it out.
Please don't excite Relian like that again, Varys.
Yeah, he's too loud.
It's himself.
It's all connected, don't you get it? The open lords. They're really mole people, I knew it. No one believed me when I knew it.
Relian.
Look what you did, Varys.
Relian.
He did this to himself.
Remember, if we're trying to trap something, silence is often a good way to lure them out. They'll feel safe and secure, and then they'll pop out, and then you can yell, "Gotcha!"
I get it. Don't let them know we know they're mole people. Smart.
Yes. Let's go with
Please
that.
don't encourage that.
I wasn't trying to.
You are.
And Shepherd and say, on the contrary, though, we may want to voice silent, but we may want to be stomping around, or at least walking around, putting vibrations out into the ground, so if they do come from underneath, they can have somewhere to come up at, right where we are.
Or would the vibrations scare them off?
I honestly don't know.
The 2 most white goats are the ones you guys can control.
Look, I suggest we make a nice little cozy campfire in a field near the pens. We set up the goats as bait, as unfortunate as that is, and we talk and we wait to see what happens.
Oh, we can always tether the goat to one of us and keep it from being pulled down.
Who among us is the heaviest? He slowly turns to look at Cashin.
I would think Epi would be.
I would
Cashin just looks at Relian with the most tired-looking eyes.
Probably Epi, Nakri, or possibly Shepherd with armor.
Cashin is just going to climb up into the trees.
No, haven't you learned anything yet?
I thought we were playing the quiet game, Relian.
I don't know that game.
Oh, really?
No, I'm kidding.
Where did the goat go? Oh, it's up there. Okay.
Okay. Question. 20-foot cube would be how big?
40-foot diameter. Or 40.
No,
20
no.
Sorry.
Cube.
Yeah.
Let me I'll measure you out a 20-foot section here. I'm snapping 20 feet cube. Is that big, so.
Okay. Wherever,
Let's go, teamwork.
wherever.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Together we can
There
make a
goes
whole
Bennett.
geometry.
Yay!
Wherever we put the goats, I'm going to hold out a hand and cast alarm around them.
Well, that's actually pretty big
I have about a
because I selected square as the option.
They'll could be shrunk.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Anyway,
Is that centered on the goat?
yeah.
But
That's
that's
awesome.
40 feet across, isn't it? Yeah, we
Yeah, it
need
is.
20-foot cube.
Yeah. All right. Half that. There.
There you go.
If we manage to keep these goats alive, we can use them for the tavern, just like goat, something like that.
Goat milk. Buy a bride.
Goat milk.
I mean, what?
Are you going to use the second goat somewhere? And are
Uh,
you are you
I
putting
tried
an
clicking
alarm
that,
on him?
but
It should be. Let me double check. Should be
Fuck
set.
it. Nope.
All players, controlled by all players. You should be
Okay,
able to
okay.
move.
Oh, there we go. I got it.
You got it.
Oh, now he's
Hey,
over.
we got it.
there we go. There. A friend till the end.
I will
Varus
take position
will say
here.
that he. Varus will say that keeping an eye on the rest of the farm, just in case it doesn't pop up right here. Since he's so quick, he can get back to the rest of. Probably with. He wants to hear that if it. Or we can.
Every other word.
Ebbet.
Gosh, dang it!
And Cashin's just gonna go into stealth mode.
Varus says that he's going to be sort of patrolling the area because he can quickly get back to you guys if it does pop up there, but he wants to make sure he catches it if it pops up elsewhere.
Obviously, there are animals
Yes.
all over the place, so there's a lot of bait.
Yeah.
While we're waiting, would you say we were there for about an hour?
Yeah, by the time it gets dark enough, yes.
Okay. While we're waiting for stuff to go down, I am going to be doing weapon bond on my. Just starting to do a small ritual while we're sitting and waiting for the time being.
The moment it begins to grow dark, Rel's actually going to start gathering up some dry branches and some stones, and he's going to use them and this to start a small campfire.
All right. So where are you going to put the campfire? I'll mark it on there.
Let's see, probably about, let's say here, right. Actually, I suppose we'd have to want to get as close to the good as possible. Let's say here, like right in front of where Rel is.
Catches fields on fire.
Relian sets it up as the tree.
We're gonna smoke this caching out.
He's
Okay.
dealt with worse.
Is Epi where he's going to remain?
That's where he'll be.
Okay.
You need us to roll any sort of stealth checks or anything?
Yes, I would like to get stealth checks from all of you just to kind of have an idea.
Cashin already rolled once, so.
Haha! Knew that was gonna happen.
What armor am I wearing? I am wearing
Heavy.
Cashin.
scale mail. So I don't know if that's anything to stealth.
No, that's it doesn't do anything. It's a plate that causes problems.
Well, all heavy armor grant, but
Yeah, -1.
Is,
But
is scale mail
Certain
heavy
ones
or
don't
medium?
have.
No.
Scale mail
medium.
is disadvantage.
Scale mail, I think, has AC 14 disadvantage on stealth.
Good.
all right, so Cashin is the only one who clearly is hidden, and Shepard is kind of marginal. He's around the tree from the campfire. As long as he's remaining still, he's in pretty good shape. Those of you sitting around the campfire are pretty well highlighted by the campfire and are pretty obvious. Varus is moving up and down, and his movement would make him more obvious as well. You sit. What do you do while you're around the campfire? Because it winds up being several hours that you're sitting around the campfire.
I'm doing my ritual in silence for the time being.
I'm actually going to try to open up a mental connection with Epi that we've usually got going on, and I'm going to ask, so the guard is gone. It's just us and them.
Oh yeah, the guard.
Technically,
Is the guard still here?
yeah, technically the guard would probably be sitting at the fire with you because he's got.
Oh, I thought he was going in the house.
No, the farmers went in their houses.
All right. Never mind then. Because what we want to talk about is not safe with him in there, so never mind.
Where are you, Benny?
We will be fine.
Oh, do you need me to move back to where I just was?
Benny be a big boy.
Oh, it was the guard.
All right, so he's sitting around the campfire with you, kind of looking around and listening. He's not saying much. He's listening. He's taking rather seriously, actually, what you're doing and attempting to do for the farmers. He seems to be a good sort overall. He's not the type that is snooty about rank or anything like that. He's participating with you in a good way.
So, Benny, Benjamin, Ben Trin. I'm out of Ben names. Anyway, Ben, this your first monster hunt?
Well, not precisely. We've hunted trolls and things in some of the campaigns. I've been involved in them.
Relian is immediately in this man's face and says, "Do you have a skull?"
Quiet.
He is quiet. His voice is just forceful, but he's not. His volume hasn't changed at all.
He's stage whispering.
The corporal just kind of blinks at you and goes, "No, sir, I don't carry troll skulls around with me."
And just like that, you prove to be a disappointment.
It doesn't take much.
Ouch! Commander Shep with the burn. I mean, I have fire spells, and I can't burn that bad. What is it with you and guards?
And the corporal looks up at him and raises an eyebrow because he doesn't voice it, but his face clearly says, "Yeah, I'd kind of like to know that too," because he hasn't been anything but pretty much nice to you guys. So he's listening with all ears.
I just stand there.
I mean, Cashin's a guard, kind
Formerly.
of. You don't hate him. At least I don't think so. CC, does he hate you?
First off, I'm not a guard. Second, we have a good report, so there's no reason for him to hate me unless I've done him some wrong.
Cashin, I don't think the tales are half true that I've heard. And knowing some of the commanders, I'd be willing to bet there's a lot more to it than we know.
Hey, we're talking about Shepard here, not my story.
I mean, we could talk about both, because I'm kind of interested now.
As to Shepard, I don't understand, Mr. Shepard, why I've rubbed you quite the wrong way. I don't think I've done anything to get on your bad side. Just what have I done that's upset you?
You work under Staggered.
Not by choice, I guarantee.
Is that so?
Oh, that's so. I'd gladly see the man take a long walk off a short pier.
What did Staggett do to you?
I don't like to talk about it.
Fair enough. Can I roll a history check? Like, can I know some interesting rumors surrounding this Staggett?
Yeah, you can roll a general history roll on Stagget.
Huh. Above average, I'll take it.
Yeah, Stagget just has a general rep for being a little tin god kind of soldier that is very proud of his rank and is trying to make the rank into more rank. And he is everything by the rules. Everything it will be done in his time. And he blames everybody but himself for any failures.
Ugh.
Cashin would even voice some of those rumors, especially the one about his stool don't stink. Stagget always blames other people for his short-sightedness.
The Colonel, or Corporal, I promoted him too. Corporal.
Come on, Benny.
Yeah, Corporal Bender. He figures that he's already said enough to get himself in trouble, and he just falls silent at this point, and just keeps looking around into the growing darkness around you, very, very much listening for anything. You're starting to get pretty tired and starting to think you've picked the wrong farms. It is after midnight when you hear a grinding sound coming from at least two directions. You know it's coming from the north and from the south of you, but it's indistinct and you're not quite sure exactly where it's coming from.
I'm moving.
Cashin is going to pop his head out from above the tree canopy and going to check on wherever the source is.
With your dark vision, give me a perception roll, and I will give you advantage.
While he's doing that, I'm moving over to Nakri.
Double snake eyes.
And I'm going to cast light on her weapon.
As
Varys,
Cassian squints through the branches of the trees, it's kind of hard for even him to see. But it
He
looks,
does have passive perception of 15.
yeah, and as he looks, it appears to him that the ground seems to be moving at the base of the scarecrows.
Well, Cassian's just going to take a good look at that before whistling at the party. So, seems like the scarecrows are getting a little restless.
I would, if it's a scarecrow that's happening within that block, Nokri will instantly lift up her head and go to goats.
The goats are bleating, and are they tethered?
we didn't say we tethered them.
No, we didn't.
They
We
begin.
only bought goats. We don't have any bark for them.
We tethered them to the scarecrow. Let's say that.
That was a
kind
bad
of the
idea.
only thing we could have tethered them to.
Give me a. I'll give you a 50-50 chance of being right. Give me a D100 roll. If you roll 50 or below, you tethered it to the scarecrow. Them to the scarecrow.
No roll, come on. Nope.
Nope. The goats begin bleeding, and you notice them starting to back away, and then they start to run towards that's in front of them, so I can't get to the goats. Oh, there we go. Okay. It's odd. It moves separately. Oh well. But they begin to run down towards their pen, away from the scarecrow.
Brilliant gets up from the campfire and says, "Alright, well, now this is happening."
I did mention that while Cassian was looking around that the shepherd casted light on Nokri's weapon so that she could see in the dark.
Okay, so
On
just
Varys' roll, would he
Sorry.
have also seen that, or noticed that there was stuff going on in the southern as well?
Yes, you would notice that there are holes appearing in the grounds to the south as well.
Okay, so Varys will run back up to the party real quick. And say hi. And I'm a little busy, cat.
quick question: would I have had an hour to finish the ritual, or is it interrupted?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you had like 2 hours. You were getting exhausted and beginning to think
Okay.
that nothing was going to happen.
We have, looks like two activity to the south. Each of the fields under the scarecrows are moving.
Knocker getting up at this point is like, our bait is also running away, and there's at least one up here.
The
Do we
first,
want to split up or try to tackle this one at a time?
the hole that was closest to the goats begins to bulge, and there appears to be something crawling out of it. First thing you notice as it emerges is that it appears to be like a pumpkin is growing out of the hole.
I didn't set that one up.
Shall we roll initiative, or do we get a
Just
surprise
get-
round and jump on it first?
I don't think the ones certainly in the fire area would not. Cassian, let me see what his perception is, and I didn't bring out his sheet. Let me get the sheet up.
15.
I think she's talking about something else, but
Also, before combat begins properly, you have time to take a quick 5-minute bio.
Just go ahead. There'll be a couple of things going on. Go ahead and take your bio, and I will continue with this because I've got to set some things up. I'll stall for you. So it is going to do its perception roll here, and we'll see how well it does on it. All right. It is apparently paying a great deal of attention to the goats and does not notice Cashin. It does, however, seem to notice those of you that are around the fire, because you weren't enough in stealth mode. So Cashin will have one surprise round. What are you going to do, Cashin?
Having already prepared his hand crossbow, he steadies his shot, points it at the scarecrow, and pulls the trigger.
Twang, you hit. Quite thoroughly hit, as a matter of fact. What's the 2 levels? How much damage did you do? Stealth.
11.
Okay, so yeah, so it's a stealth that adds to it. All right, so you did 11 damage. There is
There's a rule about surprise round.
Oh shoot! I got to get this back up. I clicked the wrong X when I clicked something wrong. Hang on.
Whoops.
2 X's, one next to the other, and I clicked the wrong one.
Win.
They forfeited.
And now, of course, Roll20 is taking forever to load. There we go. Okay, we'll try again. Boy, Roll20 is suddenly bogged down, just like snap. All right, let's close it and try opening it again, since it doesn't seem to want to open. There we go. Let's try it again. All right, so as I said, you did hit, so you are you have made it, and there is this absolutely hideous hissing sound comes from the thing that is crawling out of the ground. Everybody now needs to roll for initiative, and I need to do something here. Let me go to this.
Don't forget to select your tokens before you roll.
Ooh. That's my worst initiative ever.
You take the cleric roll.
At least I got the nat one out of the way.
True.
Okay, let me get the chart up now.
Shazam.
All right, Varys, you are actually up first.
I thought I would be first.
No, you got your surprise round. You are. Where is your? Yeah, you're. Apparently, Varys edges you out on the dex because it's got him above you. You're both 15, but Roll20 automatically figures in the dex.
Hmm.
Okay. Varys is going to take out his trident and jog over to this thing and give it a good smack. Let me get that rolled.
That is a
16
hit.
to hit with 8 piercing damage.
Yep, that is a hit.
And then he's going to use his bonus action to make an unarmed attack on the same target.
That is a hit as well.
Oh, Varus comes around. They're easy to hit at least.
They don't have any real armor. They've just got sackcloth and ashes sort of thing. Okay, so another 6. And I've got to put make sure I've got nothing else that's a mess. I've got some duplicates or something here. I've got to make sure I hadn't cleared it. Yeah, I think we're okay. And let me get the corporal up. Cashin?
Oh. You didn't say it was my turn.
I guess I was pushing the wrong button. I did, but I
No.
probably was pushing the wrong button.
Anyway, after that, he draws his rapier, hops down from the tree, and makes his way over to it in a charging attack. Well, not charge, but he charges at it. That does not work.
That doesn't hit. The uneven ground as you go over some of the hillocks for the planting surprised you, and you kind of stepped in a hole as you came up on it. Epiphany?
Oh god, I go next? Okay. Epiphany will hang back a bit and just reach out to curl a mental spike at it. So it's a DC 13 int save.
And it rolls a 16, which is surprising because it doesn't have real high int. But
Then it
has a fruit for a head.
Then as a bonus action, I will spend 3 sorcery points to create. Actually, I'll spend 2 sorcery points to create a first level spell slot.
Okay. Nokri.
Let's see. I'm assuming I can't. Come on, Paige, work with me here. I can't see anything over here, correct? Like in terms of any figures coming up from the hole?
Not yet.
Okay.
But it wouldn't take a whole lot of figuring. Figure something's going to come out of there.
Alright, since I know this one came up from the scarecrow, and I guess I would know that there was one over here. I am going to... Let's see, what's my movement again?
30.
Okay.
Yours should be 30.
Yeah. I can find it myself, guys. Thank you. Think I'm going to ready myself over at about here to see if any more show up and just wait for the time being.
Very good.
It doesn't seem like ganging up on one of them is going to solve anything, and if there's potentially more, then staying within a radius to assist would be better. So that's what I'll do.
There are more sounds coming from the south, but you don't see anything going on. And meanwhile, the scarecrow in front of you will swing at Varus because Varus hit him the most. Oh, you're right. I don't know how it got off. Correct.
I was confused. Like, I know you reordered it, and it still somehow reordered it up in front of me.
Yeah.
Even though I have a higher number.
Yeah, I don't know why it did that. But anyway, yeah, you're right. You go ahead first.
All right. Thank you very much. I am going to move. We're going to move about, right near the goats. I don't care if they run away from me. I'm just moving towards them. I am going to, for my main action, use my ability Eyes of the Grave. It allows me to know the location of any undead within 60 feet of me that is not behind total cover and isn't protected from divination magic.
Okay, so
I'm basically seeing if the scarecrow is an undead creature and if there's any others like it nearby.
It is not an undead.
All right, that's all I needed to know then. All right, I take a little sigh of relief, and then for a bonus action, we are casting Buddy Cop Weapon.
Ooh, no. That is a hit. Or yeah, that spiritual weapon is swinging. Yeah.
Yep, it's spiritual weapon.
And you pulled it out. Yeah, I see it. All right, so.
Yep, I just pulled it out.
All right, so 8 damage. It's still alive. It's there's a lot of stuffing falling out all over the ground. It's clear that it's you knocked the stuffing out of it.
All right.
But it's still moving in a very herky-jerky fashion. And the first thing that it does is it like bends down in an odd, twisted, contorted way and lays its hand on the ground, and crawling out of the hole beside it, you see long vines that are unnatural vines that seem to snake and grow almost as if they are alive, and they start growing and moving towards the group. So I'm going to put them over here when I stick it on. They start moving towards it, and I need that up. That is...
These vines, are they like attacking from the hole in the ground, or does it seem like one central group of vines crawls out of the hole and then starts...
It looks like they are all together as part of the same thing. It doesn't look like it's separate ones, if that's what you're asking. It all appears to be part of one.
Okay, so there is like a cluster of vines that could be attacked?
Yeah, it looks like there's a vine clump that could be attacked. And I've got to find... I don't know why this isn't on this game. There it is. All right. Instead of the scarecrow attacking this round, these vines grow rapidly towards you like a growth that is totally out of control, and they reach out and try to wrap around you. And you realize as they come in range of you that they have spines or nettles on the vines.
Try to wrap around Varus or
They're
around
trying to
Cashin?
wrap around Varus. They with an attack 22.
AC 17 definitely hits.
7 piercing damage and 3 acid damage. So a total of 10. Relian.
Seeing his buddies gang up on this thing, they seem to, they seem fine. Plus, he heard the rumbling from down south, and he knows for a fact there are other scarecrows. So he's going to turn back, and he's going to start running in the opposite direction, going to come about here before he runs out of movement. Would he see the next scarecrow?
I believe you're in line of sight. If I grab the arrow, I believe it'll show you in line of sight from that roof. So yes, you can see him.
Okay. Next, Relian is going to hold up a finger. A small flame is burning atop it. He draws a circle in the air, and as he does so, 3 small balls of fire appear within the circle, and he just fires them all off at once at the scarecrow.
Okay.
In other words,
Yep. Okay. So this isn't magic missile. This is scorching ray.
this is
Okay.
Scorching Ray.
So that's. But all of those would have hit even if.
Yes.
Yeah. So all of them hit. So you do 7, 19, 17 damage to the scarecrow in the south.
27.
Correct. I thought 27 and said 17.
How's this looking, by the way? Is the fire negatively affecting it in any way?
You definitely see that it's like on fire, and apparently the straw or stuffing is a little bit moist or whatever because it's not rapidly catching on fire, but certainly all it took was a spark in the material and a flame did major damage to it.
I'm contemplating if I should burn some sorcery points and cast another spell, because I'm technically still within range of this guy. You guys think you can handle it, or should I burn the points?
I think this
up
one's
to you.
probably closer to that than the one you already attacked.
All right. In that case,
the
that'll.
one up here is we've got it.
All right. In that case, that'll be my turn.
You also, by the way, Relian, as you are nearing this thing, you hear that same contorted, corrupted, hissing sound that's like a snake on steroids almost. It's very corrupted sound. And from the north, the group notices crawling out of the ground at the scarecrow on the left, on the north side, that there is another one of these creatures. Incidentally, the one you are fighting, Relian, is the one with the skull. Let me put something on it because it has a skull for a head.
What kind of skull?
Just a human-looking skull. White skull. And this one that has crawled out of the ground to the northwest has what looks like a sack over its head with painted features.
So these scarecrows that we're fighting, are these the scarecrows that were already there, or did these scarecrows crawl out of the ground?
Oh, the original scarecrows the farmers made are still there.
Gotcha. Okay.
But that's what you can clearly see the constructed scarecrows that are there, but for some reason they are choosing to crawl at the foot of these scarecrows.
Okay, so these monstrous scarecrows, each of them has a different head. The original one that popped out of the ground first has a pumpkin. The one to its immediate left, across from it, you said had a sack with painted on features, and the one I have has a skull for a head. I don't know why, but I find that interesting.
And they are not monsters, really. I've got the tokens too large.
Yeah, it's fine. Makes it easier for us to see them.
Clearly, the one with the skull for the head is the leader.
They're basically human sized, and these plants are, as the plants are writhing out of the ground, they come about to the corrupted scarecrow's knee. Let me move him aside from that hole. Okay. The Sergeant Bender will dash for this guy and try to hit him with his sword, which he does, and he takes down this scarecrow. It dies.
Wow.
But the plant that was summoned is still there. All right, and I need to, let me do something real quick. I'm going to put a plant over at the edge that you can ignore because it's just for turns. Oh, actually, I don't have to do that, but yeah, forget that. It's not what I do. I do it with the turns, although this one now has to have its own turn. That's right. So let me stick it in its own turn. Go there. All right. And so I don't know why I didn't have a picture, but anyway, we are up to the last scarecrow, which.
Oh no, you already did Bender.
Yes, I know.
So.
And now we are up to another one that will be visible in a moment. And you hear the ground graveling again, and you hear the goats in the pen from where you bought the other goats starting to bleat and bash against the fencing around them. Varys.
Varys is going to. You said that this scarecrow was destroyed, right?
The first scarecrow you guys encountered has died.
Okay. In that case, he is going to turn his attention to this cluster of nettles and attack it. One trident attack, one unarmed attack.
And I've got something. 26.
And whiff horribly.
Hey, the 10 might hit. You don't know.
Unfortunately, it does not hit on the nettles. The nettles are made of very stiff fibers that armor it up, and they do not get hit with a 10. So we are on to Cashin.
Cashin looks to Varys and says, "You think you can take care of this? Because I gotta help the other animals."
I should be able to get this, yeah.
So he dashes away.
Are you going to take the disengage?
No, he's gonna risk it.
Good call.
We'll attempt to throw its needles at him as he well, actually it's a melee attack, so it's got to do claws. So it's rolled a 19. What's your armor class?
Not enough.
Okay, you take 4 piercing damage from a clawing action.
Actually.
After that, he makes it over to Hia, sees this guy, and fires another crossbolt.
Do you have an extra movement? Because
I took my
dash would
cunning
be
action.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would give you the extra movement. All right. And you're using a crossbow bolt at the one by the goats.
Mm-hmm.
You hit for 8 damage. Okay, Epiphany.
He's not back yet, although he did message in the Discord chat that he wants to cast Catapult at this one. Hold on. There we go.
Okay, I'll ask you which one in a moment because I'm looking at his sheet. I gotta get Epiphany's sheet up.
Apparently the one with the bag head, the one that just appeared in the field, the one that looks like Nokri and Mr. Shep are going after.
Why am I not seeing? Oh, there we go. And he's casting Catapult. Okay.
Apparently that's what he said in the Discord.
He does, it's a DC 13 Dex save on the first. I'll roll for whether it made it or not. Dex save, it rolls a 20. You're rolling very good on their saves. So it rolls a Dex save and doesn't look like there's any damage on save.
Nope.
Nokri.
Yo. So this one. Why am I on the wrong button? This one here hasn't really moved, or did it move forward a bit?
Let me zoom out. Which one are you saying? This one here?
That
That one has just crawled out of the ground and has not done anything else.
Alright, so I will move up the 30 feet of my movement, right around here. And to hit it has to be within like a 5-foot radius of your person.
You're close enough.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna measure that close.
I'm being super technical. Forgive me. Let's go with this one, and I will just bring the warhammer around and smack it two-handedly.
And you whack into its stuffing real hard for 6 points of damage. It looks like.
Yep.
Okay, we are up to the one near Relian, which it looks. I'm going to give it a roll here because I'm going to give an even odd roll real quick because I want to decide what its thinking is. Even is the cow, so it proceeds to ignore Relian and head for the cow. It will scrape at the cow for damage, and the cow is a natural armor 10.
Not the cow!
It will scrape at the cow, and it will attack with its claws. It hits the cow and takes the cow down. The calf is still alive, but the cow is dead.
Oh no!
What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a written X on the cow because I don't have, those two are one item. So I'm going to just put an X on the cow.
Oh, that's a pity.
It begins to gouge large hunks out of the cow and somehow or other like consume it into itself. And as it does, you notice its stuffing starts to like expand out a bit.
Is it healing?
I'm thinking that's what it's probably doing.
The nettle blight that's up by Varus will again attempt to attack him. It's going to attack with its claws. Whoops, I rolled twice. And the first roll is the correct one. It was a 13. What's your armor class? Yeah, that first one.
17.
I rolled twice by accident, but the first one was a 13 and it did not hit. All right, so it missed you, Shepherd.
Bonus action. Use the scythe. Where is it? Spiritual weapon. On the nettles. Sorry, I had moved the scythe, but it's going to attack the nettles.
That is enough to hit the nettles.
I'm going to continue moving towards the other scarecrow, just enough to stay out of range of attacks, but within range to me to cast. Well, use my channel divinity to cast. Where is it? Path to the Grave. It is cursed. The next time you or an ally hits the cursed creature with an attack, the creature has vulnerability to all of that attack's damage. There is no saving throw. So basically, whatever attack next hits the scarecrow that Nakri's fighting.
All right, and
so basically Oh, sorry.
How come it has a 1 on it? Where did that come from?
The scythe. That's my counter for how
my nettles has something on it that I didn't put on it. Must have been left over from something I dragged on from elsewhere. Anyway, yeah. All right. So it is cursed, and you can tell me again on the next one. All right, you've done.
And that ends my turn. That's my movement, action, and bonus action.
Oh, I see that. I'm getting your scythe. That's what's going on.
Yeah, the blue 2 is its counter for its life because it goes away in 10 turns.
But it's a huge box that it's got that's much bigger. Let me now get the hex on this one so that it's proper. Now I'll put the scythe back where it belongs because. Okay, now.
Oh no, the hex is on the scarecrow that Nakri's fighting.
That's
not
right.
The nettles.
But I it's over here. Okay.
Yeah, it's the scarecrow, not the nettles.
I thought you said you were okay. All right.
No,
so
I attack the nettles. I'm cursing the scarecrow.
All right, now I get this yet. So many actions, so little time. Now I'll put your back over here. All right. Are you done with your actions?
That is my turn.
Relian.
Okay, first I'm going to do this. I'm going to expend 2 sorcery points to transform a spell in my repertoire from one standard action to one bonus action. Relian is then going to run here, kind of block off the hole in case this thing tries to flee down where it came from. He's just going to raise his hands and use his thumb and forefinger on both hands to kind of mimic the shape of that strange weapon Saloon had. And he's just going to fire off 6 magic missiles.
Nice.
Blam, 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 blam,
At this
blam.
thing's exposed and unprepared back.
Very good.
19.
Dang, sorcerers can deal out some damage.
That one is dead.
Yeah.
You
Well,
avenged Bessie.
Relian's just going to raise his hand, still in that odd gun shape, wave them as if he's waving on smoke and then blowing them and then holster them in his pockets.
What time is it, Relian?
It's showdown.
Oh, I was. It's high noon.
I don't know that.
No.
Actually, it's midnight.
No.
Copyright.
No.
It's midnight anyway.
Well, it's high noon somewhere in this world.
With what's left of whatever I have, could I actually look down the hole? Do I see anything down there with my dark vision?
No, you don't.
Okay. Well, that ends my turn then.
Because of circumstances, you do not. All right. And this is I've got to get the correct one here that we're on. That's the one by Nakri. It pauses in its crawling out of the hole. It's almost all the way out, and it like pauses and looks at you, and you feel this corrupted evil wave out of its glare. And let's see, gotta get the details on this. DC 11 wisdom save, please.
Oh no.
Yeah, I have no bonus in wisdom, guys.
You are magically frightened until the end of this scarecrow's next turn, which of course that will be one full round that you are frightened. You are paralyzed.
Now I have a question. Is it paralyzed so long as the fear remains, or?
For the one round, yes. You'll not be paralyzed. Don't do anything with it. I'm trying to put a paralyzed symbol on it here. Basically, you are paralyzed and cannot move until after its next turn.
I was going to ask, can I take a reaction on that?
I don't believe you can. I don't believe there's any reactions on that. I believe it has to be a weapon attack.
Oh, no,
Unless
I was just...
Counterspell, you could.
I was just going to... I think this is... Oh, no, it's an action. Never mind.
All right.
I was getting this confused between that and Hellish Rebuke.
All right. The veteran is going to try to kill off the nettles, and he is going to get that sheet. He is going to swing with his longsword as hard as he can. Is that enough? I keep picking up there. That is just barely enough. That scythe I've got to fix that so that its box is not so huge. But anyway, he does hit for 8 damage, but the nettles are still going. All right, this one must be the southern one. Yes, it is. The last scarecrow begins to crawl over the fence, and it attacks a goat. It hits for 4 damage on the goat, and the goats only have 6. Well, they're still alive. That goat is still barely alive.
Eat it, goat, eat it.
All right, we are down to Varus.
Varus is getting tired of this nettle existing, so he is going to make his trident attack and then flurry of blows, 2 on attack.
That is a hit. The 14 and the 15 hit. So 11, 21.
21 damage.
The nettles die. I've got to get this side moved up so I can get hold of it. Yep, the nettles die. So it is gone.
He cuts off half of the nettles with the tip of his trident, and then he grabs it with his other hand, stomps apart, and stomps on one half of it and just pulls it apart.
Give me a deck save.
Oh, I was trying to have flavor.
Oh, so am I.
Flavor has a price.
I thought flavor
you are able to do it quite well and manage to put your fingers right in between these stinging nettles, and you do not get stung by the acid. Cashin, or do you want to move, Varus? Varys, do you need to move?
Sorry, yeah, I'm going to move down. I have 50 feet of movement. And I am going to... Let me measure this out. Rollian has got the scarecrow already dead, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm going
If you
to...
can
The
see
south,
it.
the southeast one is dead. Yeah, you would be able to see it under the tree. The branches are higher than the trunk, and you'd see a dead skeleton laying there. He's got dark vision.
Move to about here, and then that'll be the end of my turn.
Okay, Cashin.
Drawing his rapier, Cashin will charge at it.
Leap over defense. Ta-da! Very dramatic leap, and you hit it for 14 damage. Epiphany.
Okay, so Nakri's paralyzed, so any hits against her are crits. I could. If the fear goes away, is she still paralyzed?
No. Only
So
lasts
basically,
for one round. She is so fearful she cannot move.
Well, what I'm saying, if the fear goes away, will she still be paralyzed?
he's asking, is this a concentration thing? Like,
No,
It
I'm
is
not,
not.
no. I'm asking, is the
If-
paralysis connected to the frightened condition?
It is, yes.
Okay, so if she's not frightened, she's no longer paralyzed.
Correct.
Okay. In that case, Epiphany is going to read a spell really quick.
and he opens up a little book.
Let us get our reading glasses on for this.
He has a monocle, thank you.
Two
How good,
monocles.
how good's
Librarian.
Nakri's charisma? Cool. I like it.
Yeah, no.
All right, so
I don't have faith in my charisma rolls. So
Epiph-
go on.
Good. Epiphany is going to cast, centered on the scarecrow, Calm Emotions.
All right, so both of them have to do a DC.
It's not a humanoid, is it?
You can also
No.
choose to fail.
No, it's not a
So
humanoid.
a creature can choose to fail. If you fail, it will suppress the frightened condition.
Okay.
So you just hear Epiphany's voice in the back of your mind saying, "Be calm. You got this."
As friend Relian would say, suck it up.
And you even
It was
hear
calm or
Cashin
piss her off.
smacking him upside the head.
Epiphany.
But would that knock her loose of it? So
If she chooses to fail, it will knock her loose.
I mean, I want to choose to fail, but I kind of also want to know what my roll would have been.
Tell you what.
Roll or choose, whichever you want. You can choose, or you can go ahead and roll.
We'll do the roll after the stream.
Okay. Yeah, I'll choose to fail it.
All right.
I mean,
you are-
it's a familiar voice, and normally, Epiphany wouldn't be speaking to her unless there was a reason, so she'll choose to fail it.
Okay, so the frightened will be until I break concentration or whatever. So basically, the frightened will not. Then you are also when the spell ends, any suppressed effect resumes for its duration is not expired.
Okay, so that.
Yeah, so I'm suppressing the effect causing you to be frightened.
Okay.
Okay, so it is now Nakri's turn, and she suddenly feels herself capable of fighting this thing again.
Okay, yeah.
Free yet incredibly calm.
Calm, free, now starting to get pissed off, so.
Oh, that's a hit. 14 points.
That will be double because of vulnerability.
Double. Okay.
So 28.
It's
And-
kind of like I'm calm because oh wait, a friend was talking to me. Oh wait, you paralyzed me.
Yeah, I had more
Yeah.
confidence in your attack than I did in my attack. That's why I didn't run over.
And it only lasts for one attack, so the Scarecrow is no longer vulnerable.
Hmm.
The curse ends, essentially.
And I gotta look something up here. Just a moment. What's it? Oh yeah. All right. So we are up to skip that one. It's no longer in the turn order, but I'm going to leave that there for now. Shepard, your turn.
We're gonna go ahead and scythe at it again. Roll up.
The scythe one is
Oh.
dead.
The nettle is dead. Okay, I did not know that. All right. That one's likely going to die before it's actually going to reach it. So we're going to move it 20 feet. So essentially, it makes it over to the fire pit. Hey,
Okay.
Epiphany, you got a new friend.
All right. Relian.
Oh no, I still have a main action.
Excuse me.
Sorry. We are going to toll the dead on the Scarecrow then. DC 14 Wisdom save or take 4 damage.
On the one by Nokri,
Yes.
it is dead.
All right. That ends my turn. Nokri would just hear a low gong
And
before it dies.
there is that horrible hiss as it dies, and I'll take it out of the turn order. Relian, you're up.
Okay. Rillian is going to move over to both the calf and the down scarecrow. He's going to kind of like attempt to lift the scarecrow up a little bit. Is this thing heavy? Could I pick this thing up?
No, it's lighter than a human would be. It's probably only about a third the weight of a human.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to fashion. Let's see. Actually, do I have that? I should. I have a pack.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Go
I'm
ahead,
actually
Shepard.
look. Here we go. Yeah. What?
He asked me something, and I told him yeah.
Oh, okay. So Relian is going to take out a piece of hempen rope. I'm going to fashion it into a loose kind of leash thing. I'm going to tie it around the calf's neck to lead it away from the body of its dead mother. And I'm going to begin leading it away while simultaneously dragging the corpse of my enemy behind me to meet up with the rest of the guys.
Okay. And the corporal is trying to rescue everybody. He does a dash to get over here, and it is the southwestern scarecrow's turn. It realizes it is in danger from Cashin, and it bends down and lays its hand on the ground, and you suddenly have nettles growing out of the ground at your feet, Cashin.
Lovely. So, is it summoning the nettle blight?
Yes.
Fun.
And the nettles attack with a 21.
Lovely.
9 piercing and 3 acid. Total of 12. Varys.
Varys is going to finish. I think he has the group chat.
What?
What?
I was just typing something in the game chat. And then is going to take his 50 feet of, he's going to shout out, "You okay over there, Rillian?"
I've got a rag doll and a baby cow.
Varys is going to take that to mean yes. Like, it doesn't look like I'll be able to quite go cash it. So what I will do instead is use a bonus action to turn wild shape into a. Let's go with the crag cat. Why not? Which has a speed of 40 feet, with which, with a movement bonuses, will put me at enough to get over there.
Okay,
So-
if you will PM me after the game of what all your wild shapes are, I will make you a multi-token that you can change to your wild shape.
Okay, will do. I just have a beaster that I use, so I'll pretty much just copy and paste that down. But I will then make a. Sorry, this thing forever. Claw attack, and then it also has the pounce feature. So since I moved 20 feet, if I hit it, then it has to make a DC 13 Strength 7 throw to be knocked prone. So let me roll the claw attack real quick.
And it rolled a 20 in strength.
Oh, it succeeded. That doesn't.
What's the 18?
18 is the attack roll for the claw attack.
Okay, so that does hit. So roll your damage.
So you see, so Cashin suddenly hears Varys' light footsteps turn into very heavy footsteps, and then he sees a snow white, very large feline soar past him to attack this scarecrow.
Cashin, wounded though you are still fighting.
Cashin is just looking at the giant cat and say, be nice, Mr. Mittens, and he's going to take the disengage action to get away from the nettles and basically get himself from behind the scarecrow and attack again.
That is a miss. That stinging acid really threw you off.
Everything throws me off.
Epiphany. You are needed, Epiphany. Come to the rescue.
Okay.
I think you need an apostrophe.
If I were to get to here, would I be able to see all this insanity?
Yes.
Okay, so Epiphany will cast a
Sorry about that. My power.
bonus action, Expeditious Retreat, dropping the concentration on Nokri's thing, because that seems to be perfectly fine. And then,
Oh, you're leaving your new friend behind.
yeah. I don't know if I get an attack of opportunity or something on it.
You aren't.
No, it's my scythe.
Yeah, no.
That's his new friend.
You aren't by
Epiphany-
anything that'll attack.
Epiphany will target this guy with a mind sliver.
And this guy being the nettle or the scarecrow?
Scarecrow.
DC 13 int. D14 int. Int. It finally failed one. It rolled a 3. So it takes 5 damage.
And -1 to its next save until the end of my next turn.
Okay, help me remember that one. Knock rate.
I will.
Let's see. Okay, so this thing in front of me is dead. The one down there is dead. I don't know about the one down there. I don't think I can see the one down here.
Yeah, you don't have enough. It's probably out of your range of sight since you've just got a light spell kind of thing going on you. So that would be in the dark. Be way too far for you. But you're hearing everybody running that way and a lot of noise going on and probably some yelling as people get stung or jump over fences or whatever. And certainly the goats are bleeding and making a lot of noise.
Now I don't per se know that there's stuff that could potentially come out of these scarecrows, right?
Not yet. You have not personally seen it because you weren't near enough the other one.
Okay. Just because this would be a gut reaction anyways, I'm going to try to remove the thing from the hole. Just, like, rip it out of the ground.
Okay, so the one in front of you, you're going to rip out of the hole. You basically have a stuffed being that is inanimate now. There is no animus to it at all. And it is just laying there like it is a dead scarecrow.
I'm going to pull it out like a dead weed. I don't... So do I roll anything for that, or just...
Say that again?
I said, do I roll anything for that, or is it just happening because not being contested?
It's your strength would be more than enough, and it does not weigh even the weight of a human.
Oh.
All right, the nettle blight that is down by this one down here is going to... more vines come snaking across the ground towards Varus, and it tries to sting him. That roll was.
AC of 15 in this one. Sorry, AC of 16 in this form.
For some reason, this is not responding. There. Took me 4 clicks before Roll20 responded. However, it misses with a 7. So you were not hit. Shepherd.
We're going to move the scythe again, about 20 feet, which will be just at the corner of that house. People will probably hear it kind of like rattle against because I can't see it moving. We're going to move the shepherd to about the tree for the full movement of 30 feet, and I'm going to cast Healing Word at 2nd level to Cashin.
Thank you.
As soon as I can find it. Healing Word. Where are you, Healing Word? Here you are. At
That's
2nd.
why I always put it on the attack thing.
9
So
points.
7 plus 2 is 9 points.
Every little bit helps when you're down low.
Yeah. Oh, that's the wrong way to go. And then that ends... Wait, hold on. I can't move the scythe and do Healing Word because that's a bonus action. So scythe stays. Bonus action will be me healing Cashin.
Okay. Reliant.
Let's see. Still dragging my cargo. Looks like we're going to meet up in the center, so I guess going to just keep dragging everything and meet up over here. And at this point, I'd see the shepherd say, "Hey, Shep, look what I got!"
Put it away. You don't know where it's been.
Yes, I do. It's been underground.
It may have some kind of disease.
Corporal continues running for the people that are in trouble. So he'll be dashing his full dash amount to get into battle. Too much to get an attack that round, but I know what he'll do. He'll go there, and I think he's got a range. What's his ranged? Yeah, he'll use his crossbow. 14 is a hit on the nettles, first thing he sees, and he does 8 damage on the nettles. And the scarecrow will attack Varys.
Varys is super popular today.
It is indeed. It is going to attempt to glare you, and again you need a DC 11 wisdom save.
You got to use the cat's wisdom.
No, I don't.
Okay.
That is a save. You escape being paralyzed. Now it is your turn, Varys.
Varys is going to keep moving. Get the ruler. 20 feet out, and then turn around 20 feet back and try to do another pounce.
Wouldn't you take
Actually, am I in melee range of the scarecrow and the nettles, or just the scarecrow?
you are in melee range of both, because although
Okay,
the nettle base is showing where it has snaked these things out around your ankles.
Okay, I'll just make a bite and claw attack on the scarecrow then.
Okay. That's a miss. Oh, wait. Scarecrow is not... Wait, it's different. That's a hit on the scarecrow. Both of those are hits.
Okay, the first one was a bite attack. 10
10.
damage from the bite.
You are out of combat with the scarecrow. It is dead.
Claw attack on the nettles.
There's still the nettles.
10 damage on the nettles.
The nettles are still alive.
God.
That's okay. We'll just let it poke. We'll just let the nettles poke at his HP. It'll be fine.
Cashin.
Poke, poke.
It's a hit, and I assume you are doing it on the nettles. That is definitely a hit, and the nettles are dead. You are out of combat.
45 minutes.
All right, we are way over time.
There we are.
So I am going to just pretty much end it here. I will, for the convenience of catching up just a little bit, I will say that you guys now, tell the farmers that the things that have been attacking the fields are dead, which you will also be able to tell Melanon at the Emerald Enclave as well. The farmers are so thankful that they start digging into their meager belongings, and they manage to scrape together a total of 12 gold, which they want to divide between the group of you.
That's 2 gold each.
Yeah, they're not rich.
Appreciate the tithe.
And
Cashin will turn it down.
Varys will also turn it down.
Epiphany will take theirs.
Relian will
Take
take.
for this regardless.
And Varys, when he turns in his quest at the Emerald Enclave, will get 1 point of renown for Emerald Enclave, and you will get 50 gold.
Oh.
This is
Yes,
more gold than I've ever
come on.
seen.
You said we
Hello.
start with 2 points of renown, right?
No,
Okay.
no, you start with 0 renown with anybody. You have to earn all your renown. Okay, so we will rather quickly end it here since we are so far over our normal time. And we will see you next week. We will pick up. Varys, do you wish to RP out your meeting at Falconmere, or do you wish to do that by private message out of the game?
We can do it on private message.
Okay. All right. Very good. I will see you guys. You guys will be heading back towards Troll Skull Inn then, and that's where we will take up next week. Kind of in a hurry, but what do we got from Raelian tonight?
Bye, everybody. Remember, be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. At least that's my mind on the matter, if I had half a mind to care about the matter.
I always say, mind over
I like
matter.
each of you half as much as I should, and I know half of you.
Don't you try to steal my thunder, shut up.
Mind over matter, I must say. And with that, good night all.
Good
Bye.
night.